with mortgage rates on a general upward trajectory since October last year and home prices up quite a bit as well. What will happen to the US housing market over the next 12 months? In today's video, I'll share all the details and of course also share the top 5 markets that could face the biggest home price decreases through 2025. I'm excited to share today's video based on a new report from Corelogic just announced today regarding their housing market forecast over the next 12 months. If you guys haven't subscribed just yet, I invite you to do so because I post frequent housing market updates so you guys can be more informed. I appreciate you guys so much, and let's begin today's video. Before I share the forecast, let's have a look at what happened over the past 12 months. It says home prices nationwide, including distressed sales, which of course is a foreclosure or a short sale, increased year over year by 3.4% this November compared to November of 2023. So over the past 12 months, prices up by 3.4%. Let's have a look at their forecast posted 1 year ago, back on January 9th, 2024. Their forecast, again for the same time frame, November through November, they're forecasting a gain up by 2.5%. So quite a bit lower than what actually happened, up by 3.4%. Now on a month-to-month basis, home prices increased by 0.06% in November last year compared to October last year. This is actually a little bit better than the long-run average. The long-run average since the year of 2000, this is according to ResiClubAnalytics.com, is a decrease down by 0.2%. The long-run average from the year 2000 through 2024, home values tend to decrease by 0.2% from October through November each year. Of course, that's the average, but this is a little bit better this year, up by about just a little bit, up by 0.06%. Let's now have a look at their new housing market forecast this year. It says here that home prices will drop by 0.2% from November 24 through December of 2024. So a decrease down by 0.2% month to month, which actually is right in line with the long-run average. Home values tend to decrease by 0.3% from November to December each year. Looking at their real estate market predictions over the next 12 months, though, they're calling for home values to rise by 3.8% again through November of 2025. Something that really caught my attention regarding this is that their forecast posted 1 month ago, back in early December last year, they're calling for home values to rise by 2.4% over the next 12 months back then. Now it's up by 3.8%, or their forecast is at 3.8%. So a lot more bullish regarding their forecast this month compared to 1 month ago. I'm guessing one of the reasons why they're more bullish compared to 1 month ago is because home values increased last month, again up by 0.06%, whereas we should expect to see a decrease in prices. So I'm guessing that they're forecasting for higher home values over the next 12 months due to the fact that they're seeing stronger price growth over the past couple of months now. They also go on and say the following: while the Northeast dominated November's U.S. home price growth trends, the highest home prices or the growth is actually in the Northeast. We talk about that on the channel quite a bit. The 3 core base areas, or CBSAs, just metro areas, with the most significant growth were primarily in Appalachia, the Wheeling, West Virginia and Ohio area, Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and the Huntington-Ashland metro area that spans 7 counties in Kentucky, Ohio, and West Virginia all saw year-over-year price growth jumping, increasing by 20, 16, and 14.8% respectively. That's pretty wild, right? All up by over 14% year over year. Unsurprisingly, this substantial metro area growth has spurred home prices in West Virginia to reach new record highs in November last year. Pretty wild there to see all-time record highs in home values in November, because of course in November the housing market tends to slow down, and home records or home price records usually occur in May and June during the spring home buying season and not in November. In contrast, areas in the West, for example, in Wyoming, Idaho, and Washington State, and Hawaii, saw home prices remain furthest from the peak in November. So those 4 states have home prices down from the all-time record highs, down by 3.5 to about 2%. Despite pockets of decreases, national prices are continuing to trend upward even in the off-season, like we talked about. The November median sale price for all single-family homes in the U.S. was $395,000, up $10,000 from the previous month. Come spring, it is likely that the national housing market will be reinvigorated and push prices even higher. Speaking of that, we're not really too far off the all-time record highs that was set earlier last year. So the all-time record high, this is according to Redfin, looking at the U.S. median sold price, was at $396,000 during the 4 weeks ended July 7th to a new record high at just under $400,000. Then, as of the end of, or I should say the 4 weeks ended December 22nd, it was at $384,000, up by 6%. So, based on this data, we're only down by about $12,000 from the all-time record highs that was set back in July last year. This is much different compared to what happened in 2022. If I get rid of 23, in 2022, the all-time record high was at $383,000. Then it fell by year end to $348,000. A big decrease that year, much different than what we're seeing last year. The chief economist of Corelogic had this to say though. Nevertheless, the cooling home price growth trend, and I want to kind of clarify this, she's talking about the year-over-year changes in home values, right, or home prices. So the cooling effect on a year-over-year basis is expected to continue well into 2025, partly due to the fact that we had a base effect in comparison with a strong early 2024, I believe is what she's talking about, 2024 price appreciation, and partly due to higher mortgage rates coming into this year and the expectations of higher rates over the course of 2025. So I believe that's a typo. I believe she's talking about 2024 because have a look at this. In February of 2024, compared to January that year, home values rose by 0.3%. Then in March, it rose by 1.1% compared to February, much higher compared to the average gain of 0.6% from February through March, going all the way back until the year of 2000. So higher compared to the previous years. Also in April, we saw the same thing, up by 1.2% compared to March, whereas the long-run average is only an increase of 1%. So we saw stronger home price growth in February, March, and April last year. And because of this, we're basically saying that we're not going to see this similar trend this year because of, in my opinion, due to higher home prices, elevated rates, and of course, higher inventory levels as well. And therefore, when we look at February, March, and April this year, we could have a more muted housing market compared to last year. Going back to Corelogic report, it says regionally variations persist. Every housing market's different, as some affordable areas, including smaller metros in the Midwest, remain in high demand and continue to see upward home price pressures. So please leave me a comment below your thoughts regarding that. But let's read on here. And I want to share this map, how it compares to 1 year ago. Because again, it says here, home prices on a national level rose by 3.4% this November. There was not a single state that posted a decrease. And also the states with the highest increases though were New Jersey up by 7.8% and Rhode Island up by 7.3%. Now look at this map posted 1 year ago, which is right there. Back then, there was 3 states that had a decrease in values. That was Idaho, Utah, and Washington, D.C. In contrast, the biggest increases were Rhode Island as well, up by 11.6, Connecticut up by 10.6, and New Jersey up by 10.5. Pretty crazy there that right now, Rhode Island and New Jersey is leading the nation. That also happened 1 year ago as well. In contrast, looking at the map this year, in Florida and also in Hawaii, they're barely squeaking out a gain of less than 1%. So home values very much flat in those states. Corelogic also provided this map as well, looking at these 10 metro areas. As you guys can see, much of the Northeast are experiencing big gains so far. Chicago up by 5.8, which by the way leads the nation. Miami, Florida was in the #1 spot for years, and now Chicago is at the biggest gain, up by 5.8. Miami up by 5.6. In contrast, Houston, Texas is up by 2.8. Phoenix is barely squeaking out a gain, up by 1.9. In Denver as well, a small gain up by 1.7%. And gains in the range of 3 to 5% in these Western markets. This is quite a bit different compared to 1 year ago. 1 year ago, we saw gains up by 8.3% in Miami, Florida, and also gains up by 7.7% in San Diego. And now, right now, up by only 4.2% there right now. Lastly, here are the top 5 markets in which Corelogic believes that home values will decrease the most over the next 12 months. Number 1, Provo, Utah, a very high probability. And by the way, all these have a very high probability. Number 1 spot, Provo. Number 2, Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's a new one. A new one as well as Tucson, Arizona. Then we have Phoenix, Scottsdale metro area, and Punta Gorda, Florida. Interesting fact about Punta Gorda, that's one of the biggest declines in home prices year over year as of November 2024 compared to 1 year ago. Punta Gorda down by 7.8%. That is quite a bit worse compared to Austin, Texas, down by 3.4%, and also in New Orleans down by 1.9%. Phoenix down by 0.4%. So what I'm getting at is that home values decrease on average in Punta Gorda down by 7.8% over the past 12 months. And looking forward into the next 12 months, a very high probability that prices will decrease there further. That is kind of a recipe for disaster there, which is due to the fact that they have over 50% more houses for sale this November compared to November of 2019. And also the other factors as well, right? High insurance premiums and also a lot of home building going on in Florida as well. With that said, I appreciate you guys so much for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe. And also please leave me a comment below with your real estate market predictions as well. Have an amazing day and we'll see you in the next video.